Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. On Monday evening, May 2nd, the New York Pops will present their 33rd birthday gala, celebrating the revolutionary collaborations of Alain, Boublil and Claude-Michel Schonberg. The award-winning songwriters have given us such classic musicals as Les Miserables and Miss Saigon. And I caught up with the duo here at the legendary Sardi's just days before the big event. Well, welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for sitting with me today.
Thank you.
You're about to be celebrated this coming Monday night at the New York Pops. How excited are the both of you?
It's overwhelming, you would say. You know, the funny thing is that the first time, the idea for our first show, the French Revolution, was born in the streets of New York City, because that was just after I went to see Jesus Christ Superstar, and coming out of that show, I thought, but this is what I want to do. This is exactly the type of musical that I think we could do. And then I went back to Paris and spoke to Claude-Michel and the friends who have been working with us on that project. But the funny thing is that it was born in a street in New York City long, long ago, in 1972, if I remember well. And to be celebrated today at Carnegie Hall is unreal.
Yeah. For you.
At the same time, you're talking to men, and when we were kids, we didn't know at all about Broadway, about Sardi's, about Carnegie Hall, about all the theaters. It was totally another world, unreachable world for us that we discovered after we did the French Revolution, a little bit before because we saw the movie, but it was not at all part of our culture. So the existence of this world of musical theater was a totally discovery for us, but never we thought that one day we would be part of it.
Yeah.
But still, there is one song in Miss Saigon, which is called The American Dream. Maybe this is not an accident.
Oh, it's definitely not an accident. Do you know what Monday night's going to be like? Have they told you?
We have a very good idea.
Yeah.
Yes. We've been discussing all the ideas, and I must say it's been wonderful working with Maestro Stephen Reinecke and Nikolai Joaquin at the New York Post, the artistic director, because I must say that we have approved together all the ideas, and we have provided them with some ideas because we took our cue, just a very loose inspiration from the concert that we do, or we were doing before with all the symphonic orchestra in America called Do You Hear the People Sing? And it's really when Steve Reinecke asked to do one of these Do You Hear the People Sing in Washington at the Kennedy Center a year ago now, that he had the idea to invite us and to do a complete different version of that show Monday night in their fundraising gala.
Yeah.
So that's how it was born. So yes, we are part of that process, and I must say, in a very happy collaboration.
And what an incredible star-studded lineup you have. So many of your artists who've appeared in your shows.
All family.
Yeah.
All members of our family, but they are the top of the top.
Yeah.
They are the very, very, very best. And at the same time, I think that Patti Lupin and Cameron McIntosh, they are
The co-chair of
Yes.
the gala.
co-chair of the gala.
And we've extended a little bit the family with, people we love like Jeremy Jordan.
Sure.
Or a few more surprises. I'm not supposed to say all the names.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's what they are called, surprises. But we have extended a little bit the family. But obviously, we could not have an evening about us without having Léa Salonga, Patti Lupin, Stéphanie J. Bloch, Hugh Panaro, John Owen Jones, Robert Marien, who created Les Miserables in Paris, together with my wife, Marisa Mora, who was the original Cosette, and because they played the part in other cities also, and in English. I'm forgetting obviously half of the names, but help me, Claude-Michel. You have a name that I'm not.
No, but the rest are surprises.
Yeah, Eva Noblezada, the girl who just recreated the new production of Miss Saigon in London, is sensational, and she's going to be here for the first time in North America, giving us a little preview of what you will be doing in the spring.
You must be so proud of your family when you look at that lineup. Do you ever sit there and say, oh my gosh?
A lot of children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other great thing about Monday night is that I understand that 20 students from the Orchestra of Kids on Stage program will perform alongside the pop orchestra.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That must be so thrilling for the two of you.
Yeah, it's not only thrilling, but also we have Unburied.
Yeah.
A song from Les Miserables.
Just for them.
Just for them, which didn't survive in that form in the show that you know, but which was in the Paris show at the very, very beginning, at the creation in 1980. And we have kind of revisited it for the children together and guided by Laura Osnes, who is a kind of their shepherd for that evening.
And it's very important to have children involved in that kind of event. And we are always trying in our concerts, do you hear the people sing, or in the concert we're doing with Cameron McIntosh too, because he's very keen about this subject, to involve children so they have the taste, the love to be on stage, to sing, and maybe one day to do their job.
And you will have noticed there are a few children in our shows as characters.
That's our future.
Right.
Really, really smart. You have this incredible 4-decade career. Take me back to the beginning for a second.
4 decades already.
4 decades. Did you know that?
I thought it was
I had not noticed.
I thought it was 30.
How did you two get together to write?
Claude-Michel is going to tell you.
That was back in 60. The first time we met was in 67, 68.
Yeah,
So-
just before the famous 1968 events in Paris.
So Alain was a lyricist and a music publisher, and I was a songwriter. And one day on the radio he heard a song I wrote, and I don't know, for one weird reason he was very interested by the song, and he was looking for me and asked me to, I'm a music publisher, I'm writing lyrics, can we work together? And we discovered that we have a lot of common point about me opera, him musical theater, and that's the values we had about the show business were exactly the same, not knowing that we were working the same way that a lot of people used to work here, because we didn't have any rule to break, because we're in a country where the civilization of musical theater did not exist. But the way that we're working together, according to Cameron, was exactly the way that a lot of people are working here, except that we were only the two of us. There was no committee. We were deciding everything just by instinct.
I read where one of you said your collaboration was destined to be. Tell me.
Destined to be, because there are so few people who write musical theaters that if these two don't meet, then there is no musical theater. And I cannot tell you, because I don't know historically, how Jerry Bock met Sheldon Harnick, or how John Kander met Fred Ebb, or going backwards, or how Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein met. Not that I want to compare anything, okay? Each one in his, in the pantheon where he belongs, and we certainly are not there yet, maybe. But, you know, why did they meet? I think it's because suddenly it's like the possibilities of what you want to do are like shrinking. We were both writing songs, pop songs. And pop songs is not exactly where we were most happy with. We just thought that it was okay, we enjoyed doing what we were doing, but at the same time, Claude-Michel's music was much too lyrical and much too epic, and had a broader scope than what he was doing when he was writing for the pop singers. He was writing for himself, because Claude-Michel has also been a famous singer in Paris in his time, and I knew that my lyrics were trying to tell too many stories, and but I didn't know what to do with it. Like he said, what for all that? Because musical theater is not an option. You don't know that there is that alternative. And one day you travel, like I did, and I went to see West Side Story, and then it was like a lightning on my head. And another day, I went to see Oliver in London, and that's how the idea of doing Les Miserables as a musical was born. So then two people like Claude-Michel and I, who probably are the only ones in France thinking like that in the 80s, or in the 70s already, and then in the 80s. Maybe we're only two people thinking like that. How is it possible that they don't meet? I mean, they have to meet at some point. I believe that it is predestined.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe it, by the way.
Oh, I believe it. Collaborations are so special and so delicate. I've spoken to John Kander and Fred Ebb and, a few others before. Why do you think your collaboration works so well?
I always answer the same thing, because our wives are doing very well together. Because all the problems are coming from the wives. But at the same time, we know each other for such a long time.
Yeah.
More than 40 years, 43 years, that if we met, it's because we realized that what I didn't have, Alain had, and what he could not conceive, I was able to conceive. So it was a complement in the process of the work, and at the same time, we have been doing so many things together, being through all the adventure in the world, that we don't have any ego. I don't have to prove him anything, he doesn't have to prove me anything. And when we are working, we know that what we say, it's only for the best of the show. Even if I'm not very happy with his lyrics, even if he tells me that the music is not great, I don't take it personal. I know that more or less he loves what I'm doing, and I think maybe he's right, and I have to go back, and it's not a problem.
So you work together, you create your babies or your musicals together.
Exactly.
Yes, because we are lucky enough to share the conception of the work, which is writing a book, whether it's from a novel, whether it's from a story in the street, or whether it's from an old movie. Reconceiving a story for a musical stage, it's what makes us, I would say, a sustainable musical, which has a chance to last over a period of years or not. And we don't write novelty musicals, so we go to the kind of subject matters which interest us as students, which used to fascinate us as young boys. So history, literature, great emotional love stories with huge feelings, a political background most of the time. So when you put all this together, this reflects what we have both been separately interested before we have met, and that we keep being interested in since we met. So there is nothing changed. So the trust is complete when he says something, and about what I do, I think there was a chance he might be right, and we reciprocate on that all the time.
And we rarely, we work once under commission. The rest of the time we are writing, and we think, no, what can we do with it? We don't receive a phone call, the famous phone call from the producer.
No, we met Cameron when Les Miserables had already been a huge hit in Paris, and he came to us and he said something I will never forget. He said, I think, guys, you don't realize what you have written. And apparently he was right on that. And after that he said, there is a lot more work to do. Will you come to London and spend a year to work with all the people I'm going to introduce to you? But we started from something which was our brainchild. And then, with his help, and with the help of Trevor Nunn and John Caird and Herbert Kretzmer and James Fenton, the poet who helped shape the very first English book, with the help of all these people and more over the years, we were able to turn our original baby into the kind of adolescent that it became, and now is an adult. Like,
When you first told people you're writing Les Mis, what were some of the
They
reactions?
thought we were crazy and mad. Because we were pop songwriters.
Yeah.
So to try in a country where there is no musical, that we're writing something about Les Mis, in a musical, they told us, you're going to go bankrupt because you're not going to work on pop song anymore, and what you're doing will not work. That's as simple as that. But I must say, when Cameron came with the project in London, they told him, you can't pronounce the title,
Yeah.
there is no tap dance, there is a certified dead body on stage. At the end of the show, it can't work.
and what could be worse than a bad musical? Column, a French musical.
Yeah.
That was another quote from a famous English newspaper.
And now it's become one of the top worldwide phenomenons, one of the most successful musicals of all time.
Yes,
Yeah,
it has.
that's another story that we don't understand very well every day.
What did you two learn and enjoy the most about the process of adapting the film?
We learn a lot about, if one day we have to do Miss Saigon, we learn a lot of what we don't want to.
Okay.
So that's about the mistakes.
Yeah.
No, but what we learned, first, it's wonderful to go back to the story, read the book again, which we had to do, and feel free, because it's a film, that suddenly some moments in the novel that you could not put in the musical because it wouldn't make sense. You have a change of set which explains that we are changing and going in another direction, or going to the students when we come out of a love story. When in a movie, in 3 seconds, you can reinvent something. So we reintroduce in the movie things that we thought were
Irrelevant for this.
irrelevant to the stage and could become very powerful in the movie. And I must say, that has added a few things. Some changes we've done in the dramaturgy of Fantine probably helped in the Oscar winning for Anne, and at least that's what Tom Hooper thinks very deeply. And obviously he has added some amazing images that you cannot do on a stage, having Jean Valjean flying that little yellow ticket of leave in that France sitting somewhere in the countryside in France, and that paper flowing all over the mountains. This is more epic than anything you can imagine with music and lyrics, and that can be done with 5 seconds, 10 seconds in a movie. So it's conjunction of all these things that we learned, how much you can do without words, and how much you can do by adding some music and some words that you couldn't put in the show.
But at the same time, meeting people like Tom Hooper or Hugh Jackman or Anne Hathaway or all the old stars.
Eddie Redmayne, everybody. Beautifully cast.
Everybody. When you're working with them.
Yeah.
Because we're watching movie, but from the outside. When you are really working with them, you understand why they are who they are. They are... So it's such a difficult job, what they're doing. And don't forget that they were out of their comfort zone. Because, for instance, Eddie, playing the young student, he was surrounded by boys from the show in London, and he knew that each of them can sing the part practically better than him. And he was still the star, and he managed to do something wonderful for us.
Martin Gaye, another one of my favorites. Are you reimagining it again? Are you working on it again?
We are, yes.
Yeah, I love that musical. Love the score.
Thank you. We love it too very much.
That's why
we're working on it. We think we have new inlays into the story. We think we know how to make the character of Bertrand become as powerful as it has been in the movies which were made before. And also, Claude-Michel thinks, and I agree, that we can take Martin Guerre now another step up the ladder towards these opera houses which welcome serious musicals rather
Sweeney
than go.
Todd or Carousel.
Yeah, then I'd go and do it again as a musical, because now we feel completely free, that it's completely through song, and that we have high moments which are verging on classical, and if we can make this experience happen, on which we are working at this moment, then I think it will find its own way back to a certain style of musical theatre.
Another one of my favorites is The Pirate Queen, which starred my friend Stephanie J. Block.
Right.
I loved that
Great.
show. The epic, the scope, the score. Favorite memories of working on Pirate
Well, first,
Queen.
can I tell you that
Yeah.
I rediscovered The Pirate Queen, which I had not seen for 7 or 8 years, in Salt Lake City 3 weeks ago, in a production of the Hale Theatre, which I thought was amazing. And after seeing this production and seeing how honest the score was to tell that story, I think I'm going to be able to convince Claude-Michel that we should go back to it and learn from this very, very emotional production, which suddenly focused on the 3 couples.
You reimagined some of your shows with your wonderful director Lawrence Connor. I mean, Les Mis, Miss Saigon.
And Cameron McIntosh.
And Cameron, of course, but-
Cameron has been instrumental in reimagining these 2 shows in their revivals. And he was clever enough to trust, as usual, he trusted Lawrence Connor. Well, for Les Mis, there are 2 directors.
James Connor.
Yeah.
James, what's his name, James?
James.
James and Lawrence Connor.
Yeah.
And he trusted them both. And in Miss Saigon, then he decided it would be just Lawrence. And I must say the result are amazing. I mean, the revival of Miss Saigon is one of the kind you dream of.
Which we're getting here very soon,
Exactly,
right?
yes.
Next spring.
Are you excited?
Well,
I mean,
don't we look excited?
You do.
But Michel's a bit jet lagged.
I love him. I just love how you reinvent and reimagine. You put these different teams together, and you put it back up there again. I mean, we had friends go to Miss Saigon in London and said it was one of the most spectacular things they've ever seen.
But that's the job of the producer.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. I mean, we are part of it, but we must really acknowledge that another producer than Cameron McIntosh wouldn't probably have the guts to decide that he wants to reimagine his own successful show during his lifetime. That's usually what other people do after this production has died. No, he's reimagining it now, and I must say, he's obviously giving it a new life, a new breadth of life, Who knows for how many years now, because now Miss Saigon is reopening everywhere in the world, exactly like it did back in the 90s. And obviously, this production is also tempting Hollywood people into maybe making the definitive movie.
Oh, I'm thrilled. You'll be working on another film.
We may.
yes, if we are still alive.
You're gonna still be alive. What are you looking forward to the most now that you've come full circle with everything and all of these beautiful productions of yours? The songs will be in Monday night's show. What are you each looking forward to the most with Monday night's gala?
Monday Night Gala, I'm just personally, having been in New York all the time and in contact with, the singers, being part of the audition, and helping in some of the casting, and being very lucky to collaborate with Steven Reinecke, who is an open heart and open mind, when he does these galas. I'm just waiting for it to work and things to come in order, because until a few days ago, we still had some casting to do. So it's done now, and with some last-minute surprise guests. And I just, as usual, I hope to enjoy myself at some point. But I hope that things will come in the right order, that everyone will be here, and that the rehearsal will go well. And apart from that, it's my sister's birthday on that evening, and I intend to celebrate.
And for you?
For me, beyond those technical points, it's like going with the movie to the Oscar or the Golden Globe, going to Carnegie on Monday evening. Later, I can say I was there, and I know what it is, how you feel when you are there.
Yeah. Thank
Well,
you for
thank
sitting
you.
with me today.
Because with you, it's always an interview where we discover things we didn't know we knew.
Oh, I love that.